remarks? Representative Hubble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also am against the last whereas in this resolution. This resolution may have more of an effect on South Dakota than most resolutions do because of the provisions in PPACA combined with our new state laws. Because of these new laws, federal and state programs are now mandated to be included in our managed care contracts if they are declared by Health and Human Services Secretary or by our State Director of Insurance. Our State Director simply has to tell the health carriers what programs they must include. I don't want this resolution adding to our South Dakota voice that we want to further abortion or emergency contraception in our state. One federal program declared just this past July notified state exchanges that emergency contraception, or the morning after pill, is now required on their list of benefits, even though some formularies of this pill can abort a fetus up to several weeks after. Last Friday, we again heard from another federal program that abortion was to be included in every state exchange. As soon as we establish a state exchange, that provision may be law in South Dakota. On the state side, I want to thank our governor for being solidly pro-life and for not seeking to implement an exchange this year. This resolution seeks to thwart the majority sentiment of South Dakotans and the sentiment of our governor. It would, in essence, establish a pronouncement that we indeed want emergency contraception and abortion in our state healthcare system. I feel this would be a stain on our state to have this resolution on our record books for all of history to see and judge us by. South Dakota has a long and blessed history of people being ruled by God. In fact, our state motto, "Under God the people rule," indicates that we are conduits for the heart of God to flow through us as we legislate for the people of South Dakota. The heart of God. Let's imagine what the heart of God feels like in regards to this resolution. The creator of life gives us a precious gift in the form of a very small child. It's a gift that takes 9 months to prepare ourselves for the magnitude of it. It's a gift that will change our lives. And some people respond to that and choose to reject that with emergency contraception or abortion. Imagine the heart of God. He hears the screams, sees the writhing and pain, and feels the terror as these little ones are torn apart or poisoned. We don't hear, feel, or see the tiny baby situation unless we get close to the heart of God. South Dakota, indeed America, cannot ask for the blessing and covering of the Almighty. We cannot ask that He bless our fields and our businesses. We cannot ask that He favor our children and things we cherish if we continue to throw our smallest and most vulnerable children back in His face, bruised, bloodied, and torn apart by abortion. People, this grieves the heart of God. God is patient. God is kind, and God is forgiving. But His patience doesn't last forever. The cries of these precious little ones will soon reach a crescendo that even God's huge, forgiving heart cannot bear any longer. There comes a point of judgment and vindication for all the pain so many children have had to bear. That I rue the day when we will have stuck our finger in God's eyes one too many times. At some point of judgment, we may find ourselves crying out to God and praying, "Oh, God, help us." If you were God and finally grieved to the point of action, how would you answer? If you had to clean up the mess of abortion and comfort those tiny souls, would you show mercy and answer the prayers of those who let them die? Or of those who pretended it was just a reproductive right? God says, "Today I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you will make. Oh, that you would choose life and that you and your children may live." That's Deuteronomy 30 of His Word. I ask you to vote against this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.